Hey, what is up guys, TechSnackles here, and this is the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. It is gigantic, but take away the size and its Pro name, and it looks and feels just like any other iPad. Now this one actually came out late last year, but the whole iPad Pro lineup just got a price drop, so the one I've got here, which is the 128GB 12.9-inch model, previously cost $949, but it's now down to $899. So yeah, while everyone was at the store getting a brand new iPhone 7, I decided to grab this iPad Pro instead. In fact, it's my first iPad in a while. My last one was the iPad mini back in 2012. Now 4 years later, and here I am with the biggest iPad available right now. I've been using it for a few days and so far so good. The huge display looks fantastic, as it should, with a resolution of 2732 by 2048, which by the way is even more than my MacBook Pro's 15-inch Retina display. Pictures look fantastic, browsing the web and reading news is great since the text is just so crispy, and watching videos is a delight, and that's also due to those stereo speakers, two on both ends, which deliver really nice and loud sound. I was actually surprised at how loud these get. They get so loud that the whole iPad actually starts to vibrate, which is slightly uncomfortable. But anyway, so far it does iPad things perfectly. However, this isn't just an iPad. Apple branded this the iPad Pro. They believe it can replace your computer just like Microsoft's Surface Pro, and I've yet to fully test that, but as of right now, I'm fairly skeptical to call this a Pro device or to say that this can replace a laptop. Mainly because while the Surface Pro runs Windows, the iPad Pro runs iOS, which is at its core a mobile operating system, meaning that it's very limited. Sure, it now has side-by-side multitasking with video overlay, but that's really it. The software just isn't here. For example, there's no Final Cut Pro for me to edit my videos on. There's only iMovie, which just isn't advanced enough. Nevertheless, Apple did release two separate accessories alongside it to try and reinforce the idea that this is a Pro device. First, there's the smart keyboard case, which costs an extra $169 on top of the already hefty iPad price. So I'm definitely not getting that, but since I intend to sketch a fair bit, I did end up getting the Apple Pencil, which costs $99, which somehow converts to £99 here in the UK. However, you can find it cheaper on other places like Amazon or Argos for £79. And you think for £99 Apple would at least include a lightning cable, but nope. They include this tiny adapter, which I'll most likely end up losing. Luckily, the pencil can be charged like this, right? Despite all that though, from the short time I've played around with the pencil, it's been great. It feels good in the hand, the weight is perfect, and I haven't noticed any response lag so far when I draw, at least in the Paper and Concepts app. And what I like most is that it just gets out of the way. It doesn't feel like a stylus and it's not clunky. I just grab it and start drawing and it works like pen and paper, which is exactly what I wanted. Just a side note, there have been some reports that using the pencil ends up scratching the screen if some particles get caught in the tip. Although Apple Store employees deny this, I'm not risking it and went ahead and applied a tempered glass on top. And in case you're wondering if it affects the pencil's performance, I haven't encountered any issues so far. Anyway, despite the functionality of the pencil, I'm not sure that that is enough to make this a Pro device, since you can easily just grab a stylus and draw on an iPad Air 2. Even though it might not be as responsive and accurate, the cost would be much lower. This iPad does have a larger screen, the size of many laptop displays, but all that space mostly feels wasted, especially in the home screen, where I'm reminded again that this is just an iPad with those huge gaps between icons. I kinda wish I could maybe have more apps in each page and narrower gaps, or even better, some widgets, but I can't, and that's again where iOS falls short. So again, software-wise, it just isn't there yet, but internally this thing is packing some power, which gives me a bit of hope for the future. It's got the 64-bit A9X chip, which is a dual-core 2.26 GHz processor, along with the M9 coprocessor. Supporting that, you've got 4GB of RAM, which is actually one of the reasons I chose this over the 9.7-inch model, which only has 2GB of RAM. And that's just typical Apple. Come on, Apple. In terms of storage, the model I got here is the 128GB, and it's got a 10,307 mAh battery, so you should be getting that sweet iPad battery life, but more on that in the full review. On the back, you've got an 8-megapixel camera, and unlike the 9.7-inch version, which has a 12-megapixel camera and records 4K, this one does not. I mean, I probably won't use this camera much, but how hard would it be to refresh this iPad and add in that 12-megapixel camera and that new True Tone display? Come on, Apple. But anyway, these specs make me hopeful that Apple has big things planned software-wise for this iPad. Either way, it should really last a decent amount of years before starting to lag in performance, at least technically speaking. Still, I can't fully determine right now how performance on this iPad is, but so far it's been smooth. I have no complaints whatsoever using it to do iPad things, which is mostly consuming media. As a Pro device, however, I still need to try and get some work done with it. Luckily, uni is just about to start for me, so I'm going to try and use this as my main computer and see if it can really replace my Mac MacBook and if it's really worth its price. So be sure to subscribe for the full review where I'll share my experience and final thoughts on this ginormous iPad Pro. Looks like everyone believes that tablets are the future of computing. Me personally, I'm still not sold on that idea, but be sure to tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Also, if you have anything specific that you want to see in a review, be sure to tell me down below. Oh, and if you're wondering why I didn't get the iPhone 7, videos coming soon. Anyway guys, that's it for this one. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. It's good to be back.